Good morning. Welcome to another One Mind meditation. Our teacher this week is Adyashanti. And today's message is about, there's an old quote that goes like, what you resist persist. But the things we refuse to deal with, refuse to feel, they don't go away. They'll keep coming around until we deal with them. San Maria, very good morning. Hello. Great seeing you. So let's get into today's message. I really love Adyashanti's ability to create a very simple understanding for what can feel so complicated and messy. You'd really do yourself a favor to do a search of quotes by Adyashanti and just read through some of his thoughts. Linda, a very good morning. It's great seeing you. Hello. Today's insight from Adyashanti points out that at times in our life, it can feel as though certain emotions seem to follow you no matter how hard you try and escape them. So let's get into that message. Annalie, a very good morning to you. It is so good to see you. Hello. And just in case, hello to Dylan as well. Anthony, good morning. Great seeing you, brother. First thought from Adyashanti is, whatever you resist, you become. If you resist anger, you are always angry. If you resist sadness, you are always sad. If you resist suffering, you are always suffering. If you resist confusion, you are always confused. We think that we resist certain states because they are there, but actually they are there because we resist them. Danae, a very good morning. Good to see you. Hello there. I'd like to make the above quote just a little bit more practical. If you feel anger, it is because some part of you is angry. If you feel sadness, it is because some part of you is sad. These emotions come up within us for a reason, and usually the reason is that something inside of us feels scared, feels uncertain. If you sit down with anger or sadness and ask them in turn, what is it that you're afraid will happen? You will almost certainly get an answer from within yourself. Perhaps something like, I am scared that everyone will treat me as unimportant. That's why I'm angry at the cashier for her bad service. Or something like, I'm afraid that no one will ever love me because I'm really just unlovable and I feel desperately sad about this. If anger and sadness are parts of you that feel scared, then your resistance, your rejection of them causes only more fear, causing those parts of you to feel even more angry and more sad. You can see the truth in Adyashanti's words. If you resist anger, you're always angry. If you resist sadness, you're always sad. Two more thoughts from Adyashanti for today is, anything you avoid in life will come back over and over again until you're willing to face it, to look deeply into its true nature. The last thought from Adyashanti for today is, the more in harmony you are with the flow of your own existence, the more magical life becomes. Charlene, a very good morning. It's good to see you. Hello. Harmony, flow, we don't get to experience these states while we are resisting, avoiding, or running. Life becomes more magical when we learn that we can have a different relationship with what we're experiencing. Ask sadness to come and sit with you. Let sadness know that it's okay that she feels sad and that you'll sit next to her until she feels better. And guess what? This already feels better, doesn't it? I am in awe of people who show up to do the work, because I know what it takes to show up for yourself and do this work. It's not what is conventionally thought of as pretty, but it's the most beautiful thing that I have ever seen. Today's meditation is an exploration of sadness, anger, and fear, and demonstrates a very practical way of creating wholeness within your own system. If you're ready, you can close your eyes, and we will float away together on today's journey, starting with the first few big breaths. Let's take a deep breath in and out. A deep breath in and out. A deep inhale. And let it go. Deep breath in. And out. One more big breath in. And let it all flow away. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose gets drawn all the way deep down into your belly. And as you fill up your belly with air, also raise yourself up. As you breathe in, stretch out your spine, lift the top of your head toward the ceiling. And once you've reached your full height, let all of it go. With every exhale, soften. With every breath out, soften your spine, slump down your shoulders, and even drop your head. Today's meditation is an opportunity to invite our inner children to come and sit with us for a moment, to come have a conversation, and for us to learn to listen. The examples that I'll use today are anger, sadness, and fear. You are of course welcome to use whatever examples feel more practical to you today. In my mind, this always looks like the grade 1 teacher calling the children to come and sit on the carpet with her for story time or just time for a conversation. Could you invite these inner children closer? The part of you that sometimes feels angry. The part of you that sometimes feels sad. The part of you that sometimes feels scared. Invite them to come and sit with you, and as you take your next few big full body breaths, invite them to breathe along with you. Imagine you could see their bodies rise and fall as they breathe along with you. I might ask a few more times for you to see if you can form a picture of what these inner children might look like. I want you to know it's not important that you have a clear visualization, but it's very helpful to open yourself to possibly seeing what the part of you that is sometimes angry, what that part might look like. The part of you that is sometimes sad, what might that part of you look like? And the part of you that sometimes feels scared. If you were able to get a good look, what would that part of you look like? Adyashanti's words this morning tell us that whatever we resist, we become. This exercise is about doing the exact opposite. Not resisting any of these emotions, but creating a space for them to be seen and held in. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, helping our bodies stretch, move, adjust, and settle into as much comfort as possible for the rest of our journey. Let's take a deep breath in. As you release, drop your head all the way forward and roll out your neck muscles forward and to the left, forward and to the right, take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders forward in big, slow circles. Take a deep breath in. As you release, roll your shoulders backwards in big circles, nice and slow. Take a deep breath in. As you release, focus on your spine. Lean your upper body over to the left. Lean your upper body over to the right. One more big breath in. And as you release, you can stretch or move or adjust any part of your body that still needs a bit of help settling down. Having softened our bodies into a state of presence, or at least becoming as present as we can possibly do it today. We can now turn our attention inwards and dive deep inside for the next part of our journey. With every next inhale, we'll hold our breath for a few short moments, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. If you don't have the time to sit for the whole meditation with us, then this is always a good place to stop. But if you are here for the whole journey, let's take the next few big breaths together. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel into your body. Feel how softness slips into your body and settles in every part of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself melting. Feel your whole body dissolving. Feel how you are slipping into a deeper level of surrender with every slow exhale. You can continue the same breathing pattern on your own time. Every slow inhale through your nose is an invitation. It invites you to turn inwards and follow this journey. As you breathe in, feel the air flow in through your nostrils. Feel the air touch the back of your throat. Stay with your breath as it flows in through your lungs. And as you fill up the balloon inside your belly, feel yourself slip all the way in. Hold your breath, but hold it only for as long as it feels easy, followed by a really long, really slow exhale. With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, the reminder is that our journey today has us sitting with these inner children. Today's examples are anger, sadness, and fear. As you dive deep inside, bring them closer. Make them feel welcome. Remind them that we are here to listen. Take your next big breath. We'll start our conversation with sadness. The part of you that perhaps sometimes experiences feeling sad. Adyashanti's message this morning was, if you continue to resist sadness, then you will always be sad. Right now we're opening the door for sadness to speak. See if you can get some kind of a visualization of what this part of you might look like. And these visualizations change. They don't always look exactly the same. It just helps your journey to be open to seeing what's there. As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, invite sadness to speak. Remind yourself of what it feels like when you feel sad. What are the thoughts that go through your mind when you feel sad? What are the things you say to yourself when sadness is your experience? Take your next big breath. I want you to turn towards sadness and ask sadness this question. Ask the question and then sit back and allow sadness to express whatever is there. The question is this. Use these words. Say sadness. In those moments that you feel sad, what is it that you are afraid will happen? What is it that you are afraid will happen? Now take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank sadness for being seen, for being heard. We know that this can be a difficult exercise to do. We'll shift our attention now to anger and ask anger to speak. And once again, open yourself to the possibility of seeing what that might look like. What might the part of you that sometimes feel angry look like if you had to give it an image? And be open to this image not always being the same, sometimes being completely different. But for the moment, what do you see when you look at anger? With your next big breath, as you dive deep into you, remind yourself of exactly how you feel when anger is your experience. What are the thoughts going through your mind when you feel angry? What are the things you say to yourself when you feel so angry? Take your next big breath and listen. Now I want you to turn towards anger and ask this question, have this conversation. Say to anger, anger, in those moments when you feel so angry, I get the sense that you're trying to prevent something bad from happening. I get the sense you're trying to protect me. What is it you're trying to prevent? What is the bad thing you're trying to stop, anger? What is the bad thing you're trying to protect me from? Now take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank anger for stepping up, for being seen, for being heard. We know it takes courage. Lastly, we'll turn our attention to fear, the part of you that sometimes might feel scared. And again, I want to ask you to be open to seeing what this part of you might look like as you speak to fear. Listen to fear. What might that look like? As you take your next big breath and dive deep into you, remind yourself of what being scared feels like. How does your body react when you feel scared? What are the thoughts that go through your mind when you feel scared? What are the things that you say to yourself when you feel scared? Take your next big breath. And then a conversation with fear. Turn towards the scared part and ask this question. Say, fear, in those moments when you are scared, what is it that you really want for me? What is your deep desire for me? What do you really want for me? Now take your next big breath and listen. Take a moment to thank fear for being seen, for being heard. That's such a brave thing to do. We'll take the last few big breaths of this phase together, slipping out of the breath-holding space and into the next. Ask these inner children where they'd like to be. Would they like to sit next to you and take these few big breaths? Would they like to sit on your lap as you take these breaths together? Would they like to crawl all the way inside you, perhaps, or wherever it is that they'd like to be? Let's take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, make it a really long, really slow exhale. Take a deep breath in and hold. As you release, feel how softness slips in and settles in every part of your body. One more big breath in and hold. And as you release, feel yourself slip all the way through. There is no more attention on your breathing. You can sit all the way back, or even lie all the way back down and feel yourself just floating. I'll read to you one more time Adyashanti's thoughts on exactly this work. He says, whatever you resist, you become. If you resist anger, you are always angry. If you resist sadness, you are always sad. If you resist suffering, you are always suffering. If you resist confusion, you are always confused. We think that we resist certain states because they are there, but actually, they are there because we resist them. Adyashanti says, anything you avoid in life will come back over and over again until you are willing to face it, to look deeply into its true nature. And the last thought from Adyashanti is, the more in harmony you are with the flow of your own existence, the more magical life becomes. Here's the thing about doing this work in this way. Being able to make a space for these parts of you, these emotions, to be seen and heard. If you feel anger, it is because some part of you is angry. If you feel sadness, it's because some part of you is sad. These emotions come up within us for a reason. And usually the reason is that something inside of us feels scared. If anger and sadness are parts of you that feel scared, then your resistance, your rejection of them, causes only more fear, causing those parts to just feel more angry or more sad. However, these thoughts, these emotions, these parts of us, they are messengers. And it never serves us to give them decision-making power. While we can welcome them and listen to their message, the question here is, if you can do this, when you can sit down and have this conversation with anger, have this conversation with sadness, now which part of you are you being? Which part of you is it that has the capacity to listen to these and hold a space for them? There are many labels we can put on this part. It could be soul, it could be higher self. For the moment, let's call it wisdom. It is certainly your wisdom that has the capacity to listen to what sadness has to say. So again, I'll repeat, these parts of us, they are messengers. They have something to bring to our attention. If we put them in the driver's seat though, and we give them decision-making power, then our life is controlled by those fears. We drive through life like someone who is scared and reacting to fear. In a very practical way, if you can be wisdom that listens to sadness, if you can be the wisdom that can hear what anger is scared of, then you can give the decision-making power to wisdom. Put wisdom behind the wheel. How would wisdom respond to sadness? What would wisdom say to anger's desperation of trying to prevent bad things from happening? What would wisdom say to fear? We have the last 5 breaths of gratitude to do together. With every exhale, I'll say my thank you, and I invite you to say yours. Let's take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning how to sit and invite my inner children to a conversation. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for learning that when I resist these inner children, when I desperately don't want to feel those feels, then I'm so trapped in that energy and I keep acting and reacting from exactly those emotions. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for trusting that when I can sit and listen, a different part of me is in control. There is a wisdom that holds the space for listening. Take a deep breath in. Thank you for getting more and deeper acquainted with a calm wisdom in me. One more big breath in. Thank you, beautiful people. Thank you for learning to have your arms open to all of these inner children. And the reminder is, these inner children come as messengers. They have something to bring to our attention. But if we give them decision-making power, if we put them behind the wheel, our life is being driven by a scared child. You have beautiful wisdom in answer for every one of these scared children. Thank you, Charlene. Thank you, Sunmarie. Thank you, Danae. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Anthony. Thank you, Annalie. Have a beautiful day, beautiful humans. See you again soon. Ciao, ciao.